Do you remember who's bomber? When we collected information from many fancy criminal investigation techniques, let's start. 12 years before Wahayansi River Bridge bombing, an explosion occurred on the forest train in Dunhuai. Many of the workers' families took the special train to Far East after visiting their loved ones returning home. The accident killed 33, 11 of whom were killed by explosion, and 22 were pushed out by aftermath and fell to their death on ice a dozen meters below. How did police solve the tragic bombing case? Let's take a look. To solve a bombing case, we first need to record the scene detail and accurately. In cases of gas explosion and indoor explosion caused by improper storage of explosives, rectangular coordinate system is usually taken, as the walls of the room can be used as a reference for its establishment. And large explosions like terrorist attacks are rare, especially train explosion in a complex environment. An open environment on a viaduct with a river bridge. Many ejector flew miles away with few blocks. It involved a far larger explosion area than similar cases. In such cases, manual block marking and rectangular coordinate system are difficult to record accurately. What shall we do on this case? Xu Lining was one of the officers who took over the case. Nevertheless, he was an ordinary police officer at that time. After seeing the scene, he immediately insisted on using polar coordinates to record. Polar coordinates? It was the first time some of them at the scene had heard the phrase, and they thought it was unbelievable. Is it really possible to accurately record all information at a massive explosion site by a rigorously ordered mathematical diagram? Can mathematical formulas really be used to accurately calculate the location of the seed of explosion and the amount of dynamite used? That would be amazing. How does it work? First of all, what is polar coordinates? It's constructed by point and straight line. Any point of explosion site can be located as a center, and any direction can be set as standard direction. By measuring distance between the coordinate item and the center of its included angle with the standard direction, the orientation of the item can be recorded. When the scene is to be restored, it can be accurately restored by selection and a uniform scale. 1986 saw the explosion, but didn't find any files or handwritten notes of the inspection personnel at that time. The second carriage of the train witnessed the explosion. We chose this point and the head of the carriage at the pole, and the direction of the train traveling as standard direction, called the polar axis shaft. It was at a straight line distance of 30 meters from the pole, and its angle was 30 degrees. It could be labeled as A33. Similarly, a body and pipe bay could be marked as B20345. Polar coordinates can do much more than that. It can help us find the center of explosion. The explosion of a bomb leaves dust, odor, and unburned explosive powder in the surroundings for several hundred meters. The scattered area of these explosive residues is closely related to the type, power, and weight of the bomb. If nitrate ions and ammonium ions are detected in soil, this indicates that to some extent that the area is covered with residues. So we have to take a sample from outside blast range as a black soil sample for comparison. Distribution of ion content from explosion can vary greatly from surface to surface. Explosion occurs on its main core. More explosives are pushed by blast wave. It's clear that the overall trend of explosive residue is the two peaks are symmetric about the center of explosion as the origin. When an explosion occurs on a soft surface such as sandy soil, the peak of residues is not that obvious. We take the polar diagram of second compartment as an example, and the density of explosive residue is shown by color shades, which is called coordinate type zonal inquisition. If the carriage is surrounded by its main surface, the area of dark soil with high residue concentration will form a circle, and its center is explosion center. We can locate the center of explosion to centimeter by extracting more soil. What's more, we can also calculate the approximate weight of the bomb with a residue map based on empirical formula. The distance from highest residue concentration to explosion center is the peak distance. For example, ammonium nitrate explosive has a focal distance of 5 and a slope of 9.1. Suppose it was an ammonium nitrate explosive bombing, we could calculate the radius of the bomb after measuring peak distance. Theoretically, the R is the spherical radius of explosive, and then calculate the exact weight according to the proportion of explosives. So far, we've completed recording and calculation of explosion site using polar coordinates and the weight of explosives. All these data were key to assist the police in solving tree booming case. It's probably beyond Newton's expectations that polar positioning he first used could be teamed up with the coordinate geometry to help forensic experts solve cases centuries later. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy it.